You can't breathe. You're trapped. You can't think. Look out for that truck. Honk, honk. Look out for that taxi. Beep, beep. Honk, honk. Beep, beep. Honk. What's that? Look! It's the towers! They're falling!
Business are you in?
We predict the future. The best way to predict the future is to invent it.
You know, to what we think is real. And an overlapping degree of thoughts and energy are being introduced that hopefully will open our perspective, enough people's perspective, to the point where we can experience a real leap in consciousness here. And we have to do this quickly. We have to do this by 2001. In order to really...
particular month?
Between July and August.
And what's happening?
That's the probability.
What's happening July, August 2001?
Well, basically nothing, but, you know, we're creating our future. Much of our future, that our belief systems, is being focused on the Book of Revelations, on other prophetic disasters that are to occur.
So you're talking about self-fulfilling prophecy?
Right. We're literally going to create it. We're literally going to create our own demise. Because we're buying into belief systems that say we ourselves are not mature enough or grown up enough to take care of our own selves. So we need somebody to come in here and take care of us. And that's an absolute recipe for disaster. Because, you know, who would want to come down here and save us from ourselves? Because then they're going to have to tell us what it is that we're going to have to do. We're not taking responsibility for ourselves.
Vietnam and here domestically. So I think that, you know, given the system and given that it operates off the military-industrial complex, which means that war is profitable and that, you know, like General Steel, USS Steel must make steel for tanks to hire people, you know, to give people jobs so they can spend the money to buy other goods. The very fact that the system operates off that principle means that when the man comes back, when the man is run out of every country, then it will become necessary to wage war in his own country.
Supposedly, a CNN reporter found Osama bin Laden, took a television camera crew with him, went into Osama bin Laden's hideout, interviewed him and his top leadership, and he came out and told everybody, within 3 weeks, Osama bin Laden is going to attack the United States and Israel. Now, don't you think that's kind of strange, folks? You see, because the largest intelligence apparatus in the world, with the biggest budget in the history of the world, has been looking for Osama bin Laden for years and years and years, and can't find him. Some doofus jerk-off reporter with a camera crew waltzes right into his hideout and interviews him. And I'm telling you, be prepared for a major attack. But it won't be Osama bin Laden. It will be those behind the New World Order. I wonder what Osama...
Sir, I'm sorry about the building.
I'm not.
You're not?
For one thing, we're insured for the damages.
Is pull it. And they made that decision to pull, and then we watched the building collapse.
Well, sir, you kept the city safe.
That's right. That's a good point. The sacrifice. You know, that could be good in my next book. I should be taking notes.
£9, 11 ounces. That's perfect.
What is scenario 12D? We know it's a war game scenario, that it has to do with airline counterterrorism. Why is that important enough to kill for?
Because it's no longer a game.
If some terrorist group wants to act out this scenario, why target you for assassination?
Depends on who your terrorists are.
The men who conceived of it in the first place. You're saying our government plans to commit a terrorist act against a domestic airline?
There you go. Indicting the entire government as usual. It's a faction. A small faction.
For what possible gain?
The Cold War's over, John. But with no clear enemy to stockpile against, the arms market's flat. But bring down a fully loaded 727 into the middle of New York City, and you'll find a dozen tin-pot dictators all over the world just clamoring to take responsibility and begging to be smart-bombed.
I can't believe it. World Trade Center. We're going to crash the plane into the World Trade Center.
And their secrets all lie within Kabbalism. Now, Kabbalism is an ancient Hebrew mysticism, and it has been actually passed down from the Egyptians and probably back to Atlantis, but we have it at least from the Egyptians through the Hebrews and up till the Freemasons. And it is admitted 70 times in Morals and Dogma by Albert Pike that Freemasonry is Kabbalism. So as we start to look into the numerology, what we're looking at is a tree of life. And this is something that the magicians use, and what I believe to be a map of the extra dimension. So as you're looking into this map, there are 10 spots on it, and they are called the Sephiroth. And within these Sephiroth, you have your Trinity at the top. So this is the all, the one, looking at itself and creating a reflection. It's the 1, 2, 3, and that's why 1, 2, and 3 are all still 1. And then 4 is the first emanation into reality. And then we come down where 6 becomes Jesus. And as we're looking at this numerology, you go up from the bottom up to the top. You have 10 points, 10 being God, 10 being the hermaphroditic symbol, 1 and 0. And you're going to find these constant hermaphroditic symbols, Hermes and Aphrodite. You'll constantly find these everywhere. That's what the target sun sign is. It's the hermaphroditic symbol. That's what the compass and square is. They're sexual symbols. The point within the circle is a hermaphroditic symbol. So as you come up to 10, that is their god. That is 10. That is the hermaphrodite. But if you stop at 9 and you skip to 11, skipping God, then you are a Luciferian. Because 11 is the number of the magician. It's the one step above. Once you have accomplished the tree of life, you are now the magician. You are one above 10. But they're doing it by skipping God.
My turn to drive?
Give me the page.
What are you talking about?
Jump from page 9 to page 11. Where's page 10?
It's got to be a typo. What are you talking about?
Jump from page 9 to page 11. Where's page 10?
Secretly depicts the number 911, with the hour hand occupying the 9th window and the minute hand resting in the 11th window. Marty is desperately yelling, "I have to tell you about the future," while the clock says 911. And what is Marty trying to warn Doc about? A terrorist attack.
Dear Dr. Brown, on the night that I go back in time, you will be shot by terrorists.
He is warning about this attack, which won't occur until decades in the future.
Holy shit!
The terrorist ambush occurs here, in the parking lot of the Twin Pines Mall. Of the multitude of names that this scene could have had, why is it called the Twin Pines Mall? It will soon become clear that this scene is supposed to represent September the 11th. Twin is a reference to the Twin Towers. And when we look closely, we can see that the clock at this scene also says 911. Both of these clocks veil a code for September the 11th, the first appearing during the warning of the attack, and the second appearing during the attack itself.